from now onwards, although we are at advanced stage now, okay, advanced stage in the sense that already it's, I think, fifth or sixth day for a research going on. I have taught you a lot regarding research by now. From now onwards, basics of hypothesis testing is going to be started, and this is a very important topic, not for paper 1 but for paper 2 as well. Some students were asking me, is there only one class today? This topic, I shall try my best to teach you the concept and subject matter, and if one lecture is lesser, then we shall be taking the another one as well. And if everything goes well, then it's fine. Otherwise, the recorded lecture shall be sent to you. And once again, I must tell you that in case in between the lecture you are facing any kind of trouble regarding listening the audio or video of mine, the screen completely, you can just leave the meeting. As usual, each and everything shall be sent to you. You can see it afterwards. Okay. So now I was just introducing to you all the very important concept. I mean to say, suppose if one question is asked in paper 1 from hypothesis and one question in paper 2, there will be two questions from hypothesis, and two questions are huge from a single topic. Okay. And hypothesis is not that tough. Let me tell you, number of students are there who always skip this topic, but this is very easy. And I genuinely believe that you are the best student of mine, but whoever is listening to me, you have gone through from all the video lectures of mine. When I say all, means you have gone through from the live and the recorded videos as well for 2 or 3 times, I think. I suppose that you have knowledge of complete measures of central tendency. I believe that you have knowledge of skewness and curtices. I believe that you have the knowledge of research approaches, what we have gone through, the types of researches and all. And most importantly, I believe, and I sent you the recorded lectures of all these topics, what I'm going to tell you. This was most important. That was normal distribution. I taught you in a very elaborated manner the video, which you shall never be able to find from any channel in YouTube. I'm certainly sure, because we teach in a very clear-cut manner what's necessary and how you can learn. Just on the basis of that we teach. If you have understood the point of normal distributions, then hypothesis is nothing for you. And I shall teach you in a way that you shall be able to make both the questions right if you listen me clearly. So now I am just going to share the screen so that each and everything is visible to you. And I request you all that in between I would not tolerate any kind of puzzles, like you all have to mute your cell phones, microphone and cameras as well. And again, in case of any trouble you are facing during the lecture, you can just leave it. Okay, then a recorded lecture shall be sent to you as usual, because once the lecture is going on, I am not able to guess whether everything is all right or not. I can ask you just for 1 or 2 times in the initial of the lecture. So now I'm just going to share the screen and we are going to start this lecture. I have already told you the importance of that. We are already at advanced level. When I say the advanced, we are around 2 or 3 days advanced in the study of research. Okay, you can see the schedule. Okay, whatever the things have been written in today's schedule for paper 1, we have already gone through from that, and I have already provided you the recorded lecture of that, and the video live class was taken yesterday. Even for today's lecture or tomorrow's lecture, we have already gone through, so that's why we are advanced. So we go in an easiest manner so that you can understand the concept and subject matter very deeply. That would be suffice for us. So now let me tell you, today I shall teach you how actually research is done. How is research done? Today I shall teach you this topic, and just believe me, this is very important. And this is very interesting as well. I'm going to teach you how research is done. Okay. So as usual, I always give some examples, only that I start my lecture. Although I have written here something. So I'm going to take a very simple example. Okay. I have cleared your concept regarding the population. What is population? Okay. Population. When I use the word population, that doesn't mean the population of any country or any area or anything else. We always talk population from the point of view of a research only. Okay, there may be only 100 respondents or 200 or 1000 or 1 lakh respondents in one research. Okay, my research area is limited to something. Your research area can be limited to something. Okay, now this is the population of someone. So suppose this is the population of a research topic of mine. This is finance. Okay, I am going to do the research on the topic of finance, specific core finance. I am reading along with algorithm. Okay, so this is area of my research. This is my complete population. Okay, so now if you have gone through from all the lectures, you would have understood the meaning of a central tendency. Central tendency. Okay. In central tendency, what I taught you? I taught you about mean, that was arithmetic mean. Then I taught you about median. Then I taught you about mode. Okay. Two other things were there, but these some authors do not include these into the core concepts of central tendency, and that was a geometric mean and harmonic mean. And for our study, for the purpose of a hypothesis testing, these are not very much useful. We shall be talking about these only. And I have already cleared your mind that you are able to understand this specific topic only if you have gone through from these topic, and specifically the measures of dispersion as well. So now we have understood this. Okay. So what a researcher does, okay, what a researcher does, we evaluate the data points of the population. Okay. I'm using the word if. Okay. If, remember this in mind. I shall tell you why I'm writing this right now. Okay. If I am calculating the measures of a central tendency for whole of the population, suppose there are 100 data points, and if I am finding the measures of central tendency, mean, median, mode, if I am finding mean, median, mode of complete population, then whatever the results arrives, these are known as population parameters. These are known as population parameters. Okay, population parameters. These are known as population parameters. Mean, median, mode, and that can be anything. Like that can be skewness as well. That can be curtices as well. That can be moments as well. We have gone through from these concepts very clearly. And now, but I use the word if. I told you, if we are calculating the measures of central tendency for complete population, that these will be known as population parameter. And if I have taken only sample from this population, I have collected some sample. I have collected some sample. Then this sample, okay, and if I am finding the measures of central tendency, mean, median, mode of my sample only, okay, then this will be known as sample statistics. Sample statistics. These two terms you have to keep in mind. Okay, because students are very confused about that, and I think in just 2 or 3 minutes your mind would be covered with that, what I wish to teach you. So this is a complete population. If I am finding the measures of central tendency for the complete population, then this will be known as population parameters. And if I am finding the measures of central tendency for Sample which I have taken from the population, these will be known as a sample statistics. Now we move further. Okay, these two terms will be widely used in the theory of a hypothesis. First of all, I would like to clear regarding hypothesis as well. This is just a phrase or a line or words, combination of words, which we assume about something, Okay, whether there shall be rain tomorrow or not, this is a hypothetical statement. Okay, this is hypothesis. Whether I shall go to any state within this year, that is a hypothetical statement. Okay, whether you shall do something tomorrow, this is a hypothetical statement. If you toss a coin, whether there shall be head, this is a hypothetical statement. So any phrase, any line, any word which we assume, okay, that makes the hypothesis. And research is always conducted on a hypothesis. Okay, so I have told you that whether there shall be rain tomorrow or not, this is hypothesis. And on this hypothesis, the research shall be conducted. And for that research, these two things shall be of a supreme value. Now I think you would have understood each and everything. I took a lot of time in just first slide. Now we move further. Hypothesis literally mean an assumption or a supposition about state of fear of a current thing. So this is all about that. I hope that you would have understood what I wish to teach you. My way was that only. For example, we can say that number of heads coming upward with tossing of 16 unbiased coin is 8. If I want to analyze this statement will be known as a hypothesis. This statement is an hypothesis. Then a number of defective pages in printing per page is 5. The number of defects in printing per page is 5. This is a hypothesis, and on this the research shall be conducted. Whether these are really 5 or whether these are not 5, more than 5 or lesser than 5. Okay, so hypothesis is simply a statement, an assumption or supposition on which the researcher conducts his research. Now, in my case, I have to explore the Indian market. And I have to do the research, like if there any effect of algorithm on trading. Okay, if there any, so this is my statement. So this can be statement of anyone. Each and every researcher has a statement. So this is known as hypothesis. Like if there is any effect of algorithm on trading, so this is just a simple statement. Now the research shall be conducted on this statement. So this statement is a hypothesis. Then its definition, I think that has already been cleared by now. This is a logical proposition on a parameter value. I have already told you about parameter value of a population. What was that? This is a complete population. If we find any kind of measures of a central tendency, mean, median, mode, or a dispersion as well, if we find that value, these will be known as parameters. Okay, so this is any logical proposition on parameter value of a population that is put to a test through certain statistical technique to know its veracity. Okay, so when you have found the parameter value, then what you do, you apply some tests like Z test, T test, then chi-square test, then F test, ANOVA. These kind of tests are applied, which are known as statistical techniques, to know that whether my hypothesis was right or wrong. So now you would have understood that. What I mean to say, what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is simply a logical proposition on the parameter value of any population, which is put into test of hypothesis to know that whether I was wrong in my statement or whether I was right in my statement. If I say that there is any effect of algorithm on the trading, Okay, am I right or I am wrong? That shall be known but only by applying the statistical tests on what? On the parameter values of population. Parameter values of a population. So this was all about hypothesis. Now its characteristics are very, very simple. Okay, it is proposed at outset in some quantitative form. I mean to say you have to find at least mean, standard deviation or variance. Only then hypothesis can be conducted. Then it is drawn in logical manner. This is always logic. In a logical manner it is drawn. Okay, when you say some line, when you see the weather, if this is a sunny day, you can't say whether there shall be rain in the evening time or not. Okay, because this is a completely illogical thing. You have to think in a logical manner, only then the hypothesis can be made. Then certain tests are applied, like these are standard error test, then t-test, z-test, chi-square test, f-test, ANOVA, to know its validity. Validity means whether my statement was wrong or my statement was right. Then its validity is resolved upon a test of significance. Okay, a test is conducted. The different test's name is this. Okay, so these are the different test names. These are conducted, and it's each and every test has its unique value, which is given in its unique table. And when you have found your own value, okay, this is known as observed value. And you have to compare your observed value with the actual value which is given in the table. And if this matches, that means your statement was right, and if does not matches, then your statement was wrong. So this is very simple process. Okay, and this is known as a critical value under the relevant test. Okay, so now you would have understood this completely, that the test of significance is conducted. Test of significance simply means any test, and the significance is checked that whether your hypothesis was right or wrong. So it leads up to a quick decision about population parameters. So what does hypothesis do? That it leads us about the quick decision about the population parameters. But what are these? Mean, median, mode, standard deviation, and the different, like correlation, regression, or anything that these can be. Skewness, then kurtosis, dispersion, variation, variability. Any type of parameters, population parameters, can be leaded up by applying the different tests. So these were all about hypothesis. I think nothing is left now. Now we have to move further about the different types of a hypothesis. This is a very, very, very important thing, because my experience is really huge, because it's been 2014 was the first time, December, when I appeared in the test, and since then we are continuously in touch with this specific test. Okay, NetGRF test. And in these many years we have seen students from very different streams. So I have experience of around all the streams, like around 10 plus subjects. I think I have experienced by now, and my team is having that kind of experience. So I can tell you that types of hypothesis, you would have heard the name of null hypothesis number of times in the paper one. Okay, and not in the paper one, in paper two as well. You would have gone through, or you would have read the name of hypothetical errors, or type 1 or type 2 errors. You would have heard their names number of times in paper 1 and paper 2. In previous papers you can go through, we have already given you all these things. Okay, so that's why I'm telling you this is very important topic, although we are never certain 100% that the question shall be asked. Okay, but still I must say 95% probability is there, at least one question shall be there. Types of a hypothesis, basically for the point of view of the research, these are only of two types, null and alternate. But some author says that this is a simple and a composite as well. So I would like to teach you all the 4 types of a hypothesis by now. And by now, I assume that you would have understood those 2 circles. Okay, you have to keep those circles in your mind. Okay, what was these circles? That was first denoted to the population of your research, and the second was a sample. Population is the complete population and sample is only the part of the population. Okay, if this contains 100 elements or respondents or data points, then this can contain only 10 or 15 data points only. Okay, and whatever you find on the basis of a population, these are known as parameters. These are known as parameters. And what you find on the basis of a sample, these are known as a sample statistics. Sample statistics. Okay, these 2 circles you have to remember in your mind. Now there are four types of on the basis of a specification of the universe. Now, what is universe? Universe is population. Don't confuse yourself. Okay, if this word is written anywhere in the exam or in any book, universe is only the population. Just for the confusion purpose, the different writers write these kind of words. On the basis of a population, specification of population, these are of 2 types. The first is simple hypothesis. The second is composite hypothesis. What is simple? Okay, so first of all, let me introduce you all the 4 types. The first is simple, second composite. Then on the basis of tests of a variety, these are of 2 types, null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. Okay, so basically these are of 4 types. The first is a simple hypothesis. When we know everything about the population, everything in the sense when we can easily know the parameters of the population if these have been given, which is never the case. I must tell you, because you can never find your complete population's parameters. But still, we have to understand this. If the population parameters are given, then this is known as a simple hypothesis. Simple hypothesis is one that completely specifies population with regard to its both central value and dispersion. Central value I have taught you, this is mean, median and mode. Dispersion we have already gone through. This is skewness, kurtosis, or anything. I hope you are getting, and this is going very easy and very interesting. So simple hypothesis, when you know about the parameters, when these have been specified, when the parameters of the population have been specified in your research question, these are known as simple hypothesis. Composite, when parameters have not been specified completely, then again listen the line. When in the population, this circle, two types of parameters can be there. First can be central tendency, then dispersion. If both these are given, this is a simple hypothesis. If only one is given, this is composite hypothesis. Now you would have understood this. It specifies either the central value or the dispersion of the population. Okay, if any one of the value is given, then this kind of a hypothesis is known as a composite hypothesis. So this was the concept of composite hypothesis. Now, and these are just additional terms. Very few chances are there, but still I wish to teach you so that you can understand the core relevance of how the research is being conducted. So we move further. The next one, this is null hypothesis. Null hypothesis. Okay, null hypothesis. From now onwards, the actual process of research starts. Actual process. Again, I'm not going to teach this right now. I'm going to give you a very good example so that it becomes easy for us to understand. So this is a population. This is a sample. These are known as parameters. These are known as statistics. Okay. What we do, we can never study the complete population. You can never study it. Specifically in primary research, you can never study the complete population. What you can do, you can only take some sample out of it and you can study this. You can study this. And how to study this? This is very simple. When you have taken the sample, what you have to do, you have to find its statistics. Okay, you have to find its statistics. What are its statistics? The mean, the median, the mode, the dispersion. Okay, in dispersion we can see say the range, the variability, quartile deviation, deviation, standard deviation, correlation, regression. We have to find the sample statistics. Okay, we have to find the sample statistic. What I have taught you right now, just recall. You can never study the complete population. What you do, you just take the sample and you find its statistics, and after finding these statistics, you apply hypothesis testing. You apply this testing, and when you apply this testing, then it tells you whether you can apply your statistics to population or not. Okay, when we reject or accept our hypothesis on the basis of a certain test, then it tells you that whether you can apply these statistics to your population or not. And if you can apply this, if your test approves to apply the sample statistics to population, that means your research question or your assumption was right. And if the hypothesis testing, whatever the test is there, Z test, T test, chi-square or anything, if this test specifies that the sample statistics cannot be applied to population parameters, then that means your research question or your assumption was wrong. So this is the complete process. Okay, so this is how the research is being done. First of all, population cannot be studied. Population parameters cannot be known. We can only know the sample. After knowing the sample, we find the sample statistics. After finding the sample statistics, we apply the hypothesis testing. The hypothesis testing produces a specific value which tells us whether we can apply the sample statistics to population or not. And if we can apply, then our hypothesis was right. If we cannot apply, then our hypothesis was wrong. This was all the detail. And I hope that if you have listened me very carefully, then your all concept matter shall be clear right now, which you were not able to clear at the time of your graduation and post-graduation, I'm sure, because number of students just leave that topic. Okay, so now what is null hypothesis? Now you would easily understand that. Okay, it is presumed and stated that there is no difference between sample statistics and parameter value of a population. Okay, so you have understood this now. Null hypothesis says that there is no difference between sample statistics and parameter value of a population. This is a population, this is the sample, this is the mean for population, which is population parameter, and this is the mean of sample, which is the sample statistics. And null hypothesis is the hypothesis which says that there is no difference between mean of the sample and mean of the population. The hypothesis which states that, this is known as null hypothesis. I think you would have understood by now completely. Next, we move further. This is very simple alternate hypothesis. This says opposite. This is opposite. This tells us that yes, there is a difference. There is a difference. This is opposite to null hypothesis, and it's the only definition of that. Okay, this is complementary to null hypothesis. It says that parameter values and sample statistics are not same, and there can be extreme difference. Okay, and every researcher starts his research by going through from the sample statistics and how the research is started. This is always started from null hypothesis. Null hypothesis. Okay. Again, very simple example. Will there be rain tomorrow or not? Will there be rain tomorrow or not? Will there be rain tomorrow or not? Okay. So this is just a hypothetical statement. Okay. I am going to apply null hypothesis now. Then what I shall say? I shall say certainly there will be rain. Yes, there will be rain. Yes, there will be rain. That means I am assuming that my assumption is right. My assumption is right. Okay, if I am saying with a specific level of confidence, yes, this is just there will be rain. That means I am moving towards the null hypothesis. I am going to say that there is no difference between my sample statistics and whatever the parameter value is there. Only then my research shall be right. Research shall be right means my hypothesis shall be right or my research question shall be right and it can be accepted. And if I say alternative, no, there shall not be rain. This is alternative hypothesis. I think only today you would have understood by this completely. Okay, so now there are a lot of things to go through, but I genuinely believe that that we have to take the next lecture as well after 10 minutes because this topic is very important and very interesting as well. So at 7 past 20 p.m. I shall be taking the lecture again. In case of any trouble is there, everything is working fine, then you can join this again. Otherwise, I shall record it as usual. So this is very interesting, and I hope you would have understood this completely. Okay, I'm just going to take confirmation from some people. Do you have understood about null hypothesis now? Do you have understood about parameter values and sample statistics? Just reply in yes or anything you can say. Do you have understood about this? All right, thank you so much. I've got the confirmation. We shall be recording or taking the next lecture at 7 past 20 p.m. and we shall be very advanced. Like if even if we don't take the lecture for paper 1 till Tuesday, then that shall be completely okay. But I wish that I have to teach it right now because now rhythm is there. You can understand it very well and you can keep it in your mind for a longer period. Thank you so much for joining me in this lecture. This is Gurpal Singh from Gurpal Education.